China and South Korea established diplomatic relations 32 years ago. And I think it was 1992 or something like that. Now, for 31 years, Korea had a trade surplus with China. And basically, it's sending lots of intermediary goods to final assembly China, and then either re-export to sell to other markets or to sell to the Chinese market. And this is the first time after 31 years that last year South Korea had actually a trade deficit with China. What happened? Why did this change so significantly? I think there are several reasons for this. One, the blockage or the joining of South Korea into the U.S. sanctions group on technology products to China. For example, chips, which made it much more difficult for any country to ship chips or related equipment to China. And this takes a big block out of the Korean export to China. And secondly, China became, in that process, much stronger in the manufacturing of these products themselves. So they don't really have to rely increasingly on the South Korean suppliers. They can do this themselves. And this is already being seen in the marketplace, where on the last generation chips, not the latest generation chips, China has already become a dominant supplier. Another sector, same thing has happened. Batteries. South Korea used to be a dominant force in the production of batteries for electric vehicles and also for solar panels. What happened? China is now the dominant force in the production of batteries for electric vehicles. So they no longer need to import from Korea. In fact, they're taking away the Korean market. What we have is Korea, unfortunately, had adhered closely to the U.S. position of sanctioning China and preventing technology advancement in China. And it ends up hurting them. But maybe they made a political decision there to still stick by the Americans, follow the Americans in terms of policy of China containment. Otherwise, they may lose more, they feel. At least right now, it's very clear that they're losing on the trade front with China. And not only that, they're losing their other market share in other parts of the world to Chinese manufacturers by suppressing Chinese development over the course of the last several years. So now, instead of being able to export chips and batteries to China, they now are losing market share all over the world in both chips and batteries. They made an assessment that it's a lost-lost situation anyway, in which way they would lose less, and their decision was losing less, you got to stick by the Americans. But what they didn't realize is that they actually lost a lot more by giving up on the Chinese market, the Chinese collaboration with Chinese companies, and it in fact has impacted on their position in the marketplace worldwide, because by forcing the Chinese government and the Chinese companies to develop technologies themselves, developing more advanced manufacturing capacity, produce more advanced products themselves, has made it more and more easier for the Chinese to penetrate global markets with last generation technologies. And this has already occurred. And it's very clear in the battery sector, this has happened. And also it's also very clear in the chip sector, it's occurred.